What is going on, everyone? This is Miles Dompier, and welcome to something a little bit different. Today, I'm stoked to be joined by my good pal, the legendary host of XNC, Colteastwood. Colt, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
I'm doing really well, Miles Dompier, my bestest friend.
I'm excited to have you on. We're doing something a little different. So this is a stream dedicated to the Game Awards 2022. The Game Awards right around the corner. 2 days from now, Jeff Keighley and company will be putting on the big annual game showcase dedicated to celebrating the games industry, packed with game awards, packed with game announcements. And Jeff has set this precedent that there's a lot of big stuff at these shows. We've seen Microsoft give Jeff some big games. We've seen PlayStation give Jeff some big games. We've seen Nintendo debut Smash Bros. Ultimate characters. There's stuff to look forward to at the Game Awards. So the stream today is dedicated to that. We're going to be diving into our predictions. We're going to be talking about the nominees, and we are going to be celebrating, the last couple days before this event, because it's the witching hour, all right? All bets are off.
Yeah.
The rumor mill is churning. So I want to discuss it. Colt, before we dive into all of that, how are you feeling overall about the Game Awards? Are you feeling that hype? Are you all aboard the hype train yet?
I'm always aboard the hype train for the Video Game Awards every year. And
Colt is the hype, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is, it seems like we just had the last Game Awards. Like, it was last year when they showed 8 minutes of in-engine, in-gameplay of Hellblade Senua Saga. So, like, Jeff, wants to get everybody super excited, but I'm one of those guys that says, hey, thanks, Jeff, for making this, because you have a platform for us at the end of the year to celebrate and see reveals. So I'm super grateful for that. And I'm always excited to see, what's on the way and what we haven't even thought of could exist. So it is super exciting. Exactly. I don't care. I'm all hype. I enjoy it.
It's fun. Some people get a little carried away with some of their predictions and what this all might mean and what could be there, and then people get riled up when things aren't there. But I'm a sucker for the excitement, for the energy, and I love talking about all of the wild possibilities for what we might see. And so that's why the Game Awards are fun. This year, I'll be attending the Game Awards in person. Normally, I'm at home in an Xbox party chat, sitting with some friends, having some drinks, and kind of predicting what might be there. So, want to have a similar vibe today with you. Originally, some of you tuning in might be saying, well, where's Rand? I thought Rand was going to be here. Where's Rand al Thor 19? And Rand, as you know, he's got some family in town for some wedding stuff. You might have saw him looking dapper on social media. So yeah, apparently he let me know a little bit late that he will not be making it today. But shout out to him and his family, and I'm glad he gets to spend some time interacting with humans in the real world.
Yes. Yeah, I talk to Rand all the time, so I'm just glad to be here. Hey, Rand, take it easy. Let Miles and I hang out for a minute.
Yeah, so we're going to hang out for a minute. So the way things are going to break down today. First, we are going to start with my votes for the Game Awards. I have not submitted my official votes for the Game Awards, so we're going to go through all the categories here to give everyone a refresher as I submit all of my votes. Then on the back side of the show, we are going to break down publisher by publisher by publisher and decide which big games we might see. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be interactive. If you're hanging out, having a good time, there's going to be a community section at the end where you can pitch your games, and we'll decide whether or not they will, won't, or might be there. So, Colt, let's start with some democracy, bro, because I haven't gone through and done my Game Awards votes yet. So I know a lot of people have. It's been going for a little while. No, I haven't.
Oh,
so I'm doing it hot, fresh, and live.
So you're going to actually click them as we watch you, vote for games that like Phantom Dust that don't even exist.
No, I'm not going to write in anything because, yes, it would just be Phantom Dust 100% of the time. But first category, Game of the Year. Colt, what game did you pick? What was your pick for Game of the Year this year?
Elden Ring.
What a coincidence. That's mine.
Yeah, Elden Ring was a surprise. It was one of the very few games this year that shocked, surprised, and delighted me and delighted a lot of people that I talked to. And you're a huge Dark Souls fan. I am not at all. And this game still pulled me in for 40 to 50 hours. And when I look at that list, it's definitely Elden Ring.
I love hearing from folks like you, because ahead of Elden Ring's launch, a bunch of FromSoftware sickos like me were like, yeah, Elden Ring, let's go. I love FromSoftware. But then there's a bunch of people like you and a bunch of others who were on the fence and said, I don't really like Souls games. I'm not a big fan of Souls-likes. I don't know how to feel. And then to see you go into it with that expectation, and then see you sharing pictures online, and see you hitting me up in DMs all excited about the game, like, those are my favorite reactions. Because yeah, the FromSoftware RPG fans were gonna like this game, I think, no matter what it was. But the fact that it grabbed so many people from a bunch of different backgrounds and got them excited about Elden Ring, that's why I was so hyped, because there was just so much energy. It felt like Skyrim again, where everyone in the world who played video games was playing Elden Ring. And so that's
when's the last time chat and audience are watching, and hit the like button, because Miles is amazing and it's cool that he's doing this show for us right now. When's the last time when you stepped out and you were like in wonder of the world? Like, you don't get a lot of big open world games like that where you like really feel this sense of, I have to explore. I can't believe I'm here. And I felt like that when you come out of the cave in Skyrim. I felt like that in Elden Ring. And I really think if you're winning Game of the Year, it has to be because people who, like you said, there's the FromSoftware stands.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to love the game. Of course they're going to love it. They're already won over, and that's great. But the people who say, I wasn't super interested, now it's become one of my favorite things. That is a success story like no other.
Exactly.
Elden Ring gets the vote.
Elden Ring for sure. Best game direction. What did you pick, Colt?
Best game direction.
Nominees are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
Elden Ring. Let's talk a minute I want you to lead this about the innovative game direction design. Like, Elden Ring did something that everyone praised. You don't often hear about games like where you organically went out in the world and you explored, right? How do you explain that to people who may not have played Elden Ring, even though most have?
So best game direction, another difficult category, and there's a bunch of different approaches to game direction. So some people want to tell a compelling story, some people want to build a compelling world, and really that's going to be very subjective in terms of where you lean. But what made Elden Ring so special is that it took the open world formula that we know, the Breath of the Wild, the Skyrim, that big open world, and injected the Souls formula to that. And so a lot of this was you being empowered to explore your environments. You would see something. Exactly. The sense of discovery was so beautiful and so powerful. You would see something in the distance and you would just go to it. And you were not punished. You were not restricted from going there. You could essentially go anywhere you wanted. And sure,
you could be punished there. You could go into an area and like, yikes, that guy is huge, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Physically, you definitely could get punished for sure. You would, stumble upon the dragon in the lake. I think that was the first one a lot of us did in the beginning area. You go down, you see the lake, like, ooh, I'm gonna ride my horse over there, and then big dragon swoops down, kills you in one hit, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, I will come back to that. Save that for later. Or if you were some of the amazing people I saw doing streams early on, you were taking the dragon on right away. No matter how many deaths it took, no matter how many tries it took, you were fighting that dragon over and over and over and over again. And I think that's the beauty of Elden Ring when it comes to best game direction, is you can play it any way you want. And there are so many different ways to play it. And every time you talk to someone about their experience with the game, they have their own twist. They have their own sequence of events. So every single person's playthrough, I think, was a little different. And
I saw that dragon like 10 or 12 hours in. And my friend's like, you haven't been to the dragon in the lake? I'm like,
what dragon?
I didn't go over there. Yeah, it's really cool.
The first time you get sucked into a chest. In games, we see a chest, we get excited. Let's go. I'm going to get the loot. I'm going to open it up. First time you open it up, a bunch of smoke comes there. Uh-oh. And then you get teleported into some hellscape cave filled with a bunch of bug demons that are destroying you.
One-shotters.
Like, oh no, what have I done? Why am I here? And then you talk to somebody who's 50 hours into the game, had no idea that was even a thing. Had no idea there was this random chest hidden underneath some catacombs that sucked you to Caelid. And that's why it's so special. Best narrative. We have A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality. Colt, what did you pick here? Did you pick
God
Elden
of War
Ring?
Ragnarok.
Elden Ring once again?
No, God of War Ragnarok. The best part about God of War Ragnarok is the characters and the things they say to each other. Even at God of War Ragnarok's most non-combat or non-exciting times, is filled with some really great dialogue or a really great way of speaking or story unfolding that's going on that I really appreciated. And of course, the acting and the mocap is and the voiceover work so amazing. It definitely goes to God of War Ragnarok for me. But what did you vote?
I'm going to vote A Plague Tale Requiem, just because I am a huge fan of the family dynamic in that. Amicia and her relationship with her brother.
Yeah.
It's just, I know a lot of people meme on the younger brother being very annoying, Hugo, but I just love their dynamic. And it really, for me, it kind of amplifies every scene because there's these stakes. You have this family connection. There is a purpose and this unrelenting desire to protect something you love at all costs, any and all costs. And that's kind of the driving force of both of the Plague Tale games. And I think with Requiem, they kind of elevated everything I liked about the first one. So was a huge fan. That being said, I need to play Immortality because I've had a ton of people, I haven't played it, but I've had a ton of people tell me it's for fans of weird, just flat out weird medium. It's definitely worth checking out. So I need to check out Immortality. Best art direction, we have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. What did you vote for here?
Stray. No, I'm just kidding.
Stray, let's go.
I voted for God of War Ragnarok. It's one of the best looking games, and they don't miss an attention to detail. And the visuals look incredible. Like there was times when Atreus would be talking, and you're on this trolley train, like a tram that goes across the water, and there's a chain there. And he was talking to his dad, and I'm like, no way he's gonna interact with that chain. And while he was talking, he ducked under and grabbed it like he would naturally. Like they ran a rope in the mocap studio just to make sure that everything was covered for animation and the quality of the way the game looks and feels. That's really amazing. And of course that spills throughout, like times when you come up over a ladder and do something, or it interacts with the environment, the way it works. Like it's a masterclass.
Yeah, absolutely. God of War is a visual masterpiece. That jellyfish. I think the last trailer they did pre-launch, when you first saw that big jellyfish revealed, that moment there, much like a lot of the all-time great games, that visual sticks in your head because it's so powerful. The color balance is so beautiful. But again, I'm going Elden Ring. And I know Elden Ring got some flack for not being that visually impressive. And I think
I disagree.
Yeah,
I think it was beautiful. The sense of scale, that huge glowing trees, the ones you can see in different parts of the background, the massive buildings and castles. It's a beautiful game. And anybody who says it's ugly, I'm like, come on.
It's not. Yeah, it's from a raw fidelity perspective. Maybe it isn't the most, innovative genre-pushing game like a Plague Tale Requiem. You look at the visuals then, you go,
sure,
hot
but
damn.
Look at the scale.
But
look at the scale, though.
Exactly.
Like in God of War Ragnarok and Plague's Tale, like God of War Ragnarok gives you a little more exploratory room. Not much, really. They're probably about the same as far as what could be linear in an openish world, I guess. But Elden Ring, like you said, if you see it, you can pretty much go to it. And you don't get many games like that.
I think FromSoftware in particular has always been excellent with color balance. And I think that's a critically underrated element of art direction. And FromSoftware, in a lot of ways, in my eyes, they're the best in the game, especially with Elden Ring, because it's so diverse. You have so many biomes that you look at and you immediately know where you are. And you immediately get this feeling based on your environments, from the gold areas near the castle, to the snow areas, to Caelid, which has the blood red sky and the pustules on the ground. Every single biome in
the hands
feels, the hands.
What were they called? I forgot.
I'm blanking. But the first time you see the hands, I remember that. I was in the sewers of the capital. I had completely, because somebody asked me if I went to Hand Town originally, going back to our previous point.
Yeah, whatever that's
called.
Hand
Town?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I had no idea this was a thing. Because the first time I saw the hand, it dropped on me while I was walking through the sewers in the capital, and it just made me crap my pants. And so again, Elden Ring, very special game.
Yeah, it is.
Best score in music. Do you remember what you voted for here? Usual offenders, we got Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I don't remember what I voted for. I'm going to skip this one because for me, none of the music is memorable that I would hum a tune from it.
The Elden
on an
Ring
off
title
chance.
track? Come, that hits, man. Come on, that hits. Oh, every time I open up Elden Ring, I sit in the menu for like 30 straight seconds and just wait for that. And then and only then will I start the game once I've heard that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm really torn though. This category I thought this year was really strong. The Plague Tale Requiem, the strings, the tension strings that happen every time the rats are about to go in. And it just immediately makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and just puts you on edge. Like, that is amazing, impactful orchestral music. Elden Ring. All of the boss themes in this are absolutely outstanding. The title track is
very epic. Yeah.
One of the best pieces of music in video game history. Like, I love that title track so much. God of War, another huge, powerful orchestral soundtrack across the board. I'm gonna go with Metal Hellsinger though for this category, simply because it is so damn cool to see a video game just fully embrace heavy metal culture. If you're unfamiliar with Metal Hellsinger, it's a rhythm-based shooter that has a bunch of the best metal vocalists right now. You got Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. You have Matt Heafy from Trivium. You got Tatiana Schmalek of Ginger, and all of the. And
you know your stuff.
Serge Tankian of System of a Down. Oh, dude, that soundtrack is so good, and it just gets me amped. I've been listening to that just in the car for the last several weeks.
You have,
yeah.
Now that definitely needs your vote then. If you're listening to that in the car.
So really torn.
Definitely.
I mean, Elden Ring, I could see winning. Probably will win, but I gotta give some love to Metal Hellsinger. All right, I just gotta.
Okay.
All right, best audio design. I'm just gonna God of War. There you go. I'm blasting through some of these. Best performance. Do you have any picks for this? A lot of them, obviously. We got Ashley Birch from Horizon Forbidden West. We got Christopher Judge from God of War Ragnarok. We got Sunny Soljic of God of War Ragnarok. And we have Charlotte McBurney of Plague Tale Requiem.
Let's see. I would definitely not give it to Ashley Birch. She's amazing in everything but Aloy.
Oh, drama.
She is. Her Aloy is so flat and so boring. I couldn't even finish the last game, and I love the first one. She is super talented, and I don't know why they didn't let her put some charisma into that character, because she is really, really great.
A little splash in there.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one for me. I like the Plague's Tale series, but I'd probably have to give it to Sunny. Although he can be irritating in the first game, in the second one, his dad's kind of a jerk. And I feel like, come on, he's just trying to find his way, and he's trying to, find out who he is. And every person at that age wants to. And I didn't play Immortality, so my vote will go for Sunny.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
What about you?
I'm gonna go with Charlotte, who plays Amicia in A Plague Tale. Because there are just some really outstanding performances from her across the board in that. Oh, there's 31 categories. All right, I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm gonna skip to some of the highlights here. Best indie cult.
Best indie. Okay.
Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
Oh. Okay, well, this is what was the Cult of the Lamb, which I never got to. So the only one I played is Tunic, and I was also playing at the same time as Elden Ring, so I was overloaded with "You Will Die," even though you're just a cartoon fox.
Too much stimulus.
Tunic. Yeah, too much. Tunic was very cool.
Tunic was really cool. I loved. If you haven't played Tunic, one of my favorite things about it is it has this old school Super Nintendo instruction manual guide to it. So you'll find pieces of this. basically Super Nintendo game manual that tell you how to do certain things in the game and how to progress in the game. And as someone who grew up playing Super Nintendo, that was the first console that I had. A ton, obviously, the nostalgia is huge there, but it's also just a great throwback to Legend of Zelda: The Link to the Past. I'm going to vote for Neon White, even though I did not love the visual novel component of the game. I mashed A through all of the dialogue as fast as I possibly could because I didn't want to hear it. The moment-to-moment gameplay in Neon White, oh my god, it is so fast, so fluid, and it really feeds into that one more run. Like, I want to beat the best time. You saw a bunch of people like Mike Minotti and Jeff Grubb and all of these other people online, like, and even Gaz got in there trying to beat everyone's times because it's really addicting. It's really good, and you like feel that you get better every single time you play. And so from just a raw gameplay perspective, oh my god, Neon White, so good.
We have to say, especially since One Bad Mother is in line with me, that Vampire Survivors absolutely deserves to be on that list. It is so good.
Yeah. It did make one of the lists in the indie category at least, but it was unfortunate that a lot of people were fighting for that to be in the Game of the Year category, Colt. A lot of people were looking at Vampire Survivors and said, this needs to be in consideration with Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok because this just hits, dude. And it does. That game is, it's also pure crack though. It's like a dangerously addicting game.
Yeah, I even played one last night before I went to sleep, and I'm like,
it's like, one more run.
And I'm playing the hyper mode. Yeah, it's crazy.
So really fantastic game. Best role-playing game. This was another category this year I was pretty stoked on. Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
They're not on screen for me yet. Say them again.
Elden Ring, and then a bunch of Nintendo stuff. Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh, there it is.
Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. How many of these have you played? Elden Ring?
Just Elden Ring.
Okay, yeah.
You guys know me. I mean, I know Miles knows me. That the JRPG or those type of games. I don't know. Live Alive looks like a JRPG, maybe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear great things about Xenoblade Chronicles, but I can only vote what I played, and that's Elden Ring.
Yeah, I have played all of these, but I'm still voting Elden Ring. Live Alive, though, I have to give a shout out to if you're a fan of that retro era of gaming. RPGs like Mother 3. It's a basically long lost Super Nintendo RPG that was brought to the West for the very first time and completely remade. So outstanding. It's an anthology, so it's a bunch of mini RPGs within each other. Fantastic game. But Elden Ring, baby! Elden Ring for me is getting a clean sweep, really, across the board. Okay. That's a lot of the bulk categories. I'll finish up my voting a little bit later on. Now, let's get into the predictions here, Colt, because that's really what the show is about today. Let me turn this off here. We're going to do something, try to amp up the production value of this live stream here. So, all right.
One-man show, too.
Exactly. Producing, hosting, doing it all, baby. Let's go. So if you're having a good time.
Lighting, camera,
exactly.
key grip,
Smash that like button, share it out. We're going to be diving into a bunch of the main publishers here. We're going to be doing a little breakdown of a lot of the biggest games we could see. And then you and we're going to decide whether or not, yes, that will be there. No, that won't be there. Or maybe it will be there. If you have a game in particular you are curious about, there is going to be a community section at the end where we will build out a list with you together in real time, doing it live, baby. So, Colt, let's start with WB. And let's start by saying Mortal Kombat will not be there. Ed Boon has come out and said, sorry, y'all. I know we announced a Mortal Kombat once upon a time at the Game Awards, but this year it ain't it. This year it ain't happening. Sorry, y'all. No Mortal Kombat from WB. But that being said, WB has been busy, WB is busy, and they have a lot of stuff on the horizon that has been confirmed. So let's start with Hogwarts Legacy, which is their upcoming Harry Potter universe single-player open-world RPG. Are we going to see Hogwarts Legacy at the Game Awards 2022?
My understanding is that game is moved to January or February of 23.
Correct.
Who knows?
I'm pretty sure it's February, but correct me if I'm
February?
wrong. Pretty sure it's February.
Okay. Um, yeah, they're due. I mean, they don't really need to show something at the Game Awards. They've shown almost 30 minutes of gameplay at this point. So, I guess, yeah, we could see it. I don't think they have to.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. That really, I think that could be here just because it is WB's big next game. And for those reasons, with the PlayStation kind of marketing deal in place, I imagine that it's likely to be there, even if it is just a new trailer, a new gameplay trailer, and that's it. So I would say that we'll probably see Hogwarts Legacy. So do you want to put this in yes or maybe? How confident?
Yeah, I'll put it in yes. I'll put it in yes. It's not like a crazy, why would it ever be there thing. Yeah, good idea.
Suicide Squad, another big co-op one. Probably the WB project I'm most excited about is Suicide Squad. There have been some nuggets in the back end of the PlayStation Store that show a WB title, an unlisted WB title, mind you, that's roughly 40-some gigabytes. So some people are speculating that this could be the pre-order for Suicide Squad. So what do you think? We just had Gotham Knights. We got Hogwarts Legacy in February. Is WB going to say, boom, here's the new Suicide Squad release date?
No, I don't think they'll give a release date because I think they want to push that game into the holiday of next year. They've given it more time. So I'd like to see a little more gameplay. We saw a really great gameplay montage a year ago, or I think it was. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, 4-player co-op looks basically like 4-player Sunset Overdrive with DC characters.
That's a really good that's a good description. I haven't thought of it that way. Yeah, so, I can't wait.
You're saying no.
I am saying yes, they need to show it. Yes, I think they will.
Okay. I was gonna say I think we're gonna see that for sure. I don't want to say for sure, but I'm pretty confident we'll see that. Again, maybe not a release date, but maybe a release window with an updated trailer.
Sure.
What about Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman's been a big question mark. That game basically was announced to be a thing. We got a little teaser, a teeny little teaser for Monolith's Wonder Woman game, and that's it. Since that teaser, we haven't gotten a peep about the Wonder Woman game.
Hey, Phil, go buy exclusivity for that. You guys work with Monolith. You help them with Middle-earth Shadow of War. You had marketing rights. You know the team. They're just down the road from your studio. Cut them a check and get that game to launch on Xbox, at least 1 year timed exclusive. And just bring a bunch of people to Game Pass. Give the Xbox guys something to be excited about when it comes to superhero games. And I know Phil said we're not into paying for other people's IPs. Like, they don't want to put out a bunch of money to get an IP that doesn't belong, that doesn't stay in the studio family. Does that make sense, Miles? Like, he said, without saying about Wonder Woman, it's like we're not in the business to go buy someone's IP and borrow it, basically. Is what in my words, that was what he said. So the chances of them buying Wonder Woman to have it exclusive or timed exclusive is very, very slim. But I think it's just one of those things that if you're listening, it's something you need to do for the Xbox platform. Grab that superhero game, have it on there first, enjoy people just going, thank you, this is so cool. But I'm super excited for that game. I love their work.
We know PlayStation has been leaning aggressively into Marvel. Spider-Man, Wolverine, and so there has been this call to action.
It's just two, right?
Yeah.
It's just two. PlayStation has two superhero IPs with Wolverine and Spider-Man, and they're already on their third game for Spider-Man on the way. It's not this massive disparity, but Xbox just needs one.
Exactly. I mean, PlayStation just happens to have arguably the biggest superhero in Spider-Man, which is tough. And so, like you said, there has been this call to action from the Xbox community that says, we want our answer to Spider-Man, okay? We want our superhero exclusive. Give us a lot of people shout Batman, but Wonder Woman, I think the idea of a Wonder Woman game is exciting because of all of the possibilities for like cool sword and board like melee combat that you could do there.
Yes.
So will we see it at the Game Awards? What's your thought there? I don't know that we're going to see it, to be honest. I really don't know what to expect from Wonder Woman in terms of like its timeline because I haven't heard a peep about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and some of this we have to step back and say what things have not had enough airtime and what things are due, and Wonder Woman's due. Like Hogwarts and Suicide Squad, we've seen a lot of, and it seems like it'd be very reasonable for them to be there. Wonder Woman is one of those games where like you just showed us a logo. It's time for the next thing. So I would put that yes.
Okay. I'm gonna move it to maybe just because. Oh no. Oops.
Yeah. I forgot there's a maybe.
Let's throw it in maybe here, just to mix it up. All right, Wonder Woman in the maybe category. Final one here for WB. Injustice 3. We know that Mortal Kombat's not going to be there, but I don't think Ed Boon said Injustice won't. But maybe he said no new NetherRealm projects entirely, now that I'm thinking about it. So what are the odds on Injustice 3 showing up here?
I think no.
Yeah.
Didn't he say something about... He said something about not just straight up Mortal Kombat. I can't remember what his quote was. It leads me to believe like he was trying to say, hey, and not our crossover stuff either.
Yeah.
Because there was a rumor about Killer Instinct merging with Mortal Kombat. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
So I even in a video, I even recorded both games and I split screened them so it looked like they were fighting each other.
Dude, that's the dream. We all want Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct or NetherRealm just to make Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I'd put Injustice under no, but it's your show.
Injustice, no. I'm with you.
All right. Okay.
Let's move on to the wonderful world of Activision Blizzard. They've been in the conversations a lot this year, especially in the Xbox community, because of the little pending acquisition there. But we're going to be talking about them in a different context here, and we're going to be talking about the games that they might show. We know Blizzard in particular is spending a lot of time reinventing itself, reinventing its image after a couple of rough years. Let's talk about what we might see from Activision Blizzard here. Starting with the big one, the big confirmed release for 2023, and that's Diablo 4. Because if you've been paying attention on social media, there have been a lot of rumors surrounding Diablo 4 and the Game Awards. Started with a report that Diablo 4 would be at the Game Awards with an April release date. And since then, that has transformed into a rumor that Diablo 4 will show up at the Game Awards. They will announce an open beta, and they will announce a release date of June. So, Colt, are we seeing Diablo 4 at the Game Awards?
Yeah.
And
I think so.
When do you think it's releasing?
I thought they were going to push more for April or March, but I haven't kept up since then. I think we talked about that last night on my show. I don't remember what the last communication was from Blizzard about Diablo 4, but an open beta. I mean, that I wonder how soon they would want to do that. If they're doing June, how long do they want to do an open beta? This could be a big deal.
I think an open beta would be a lot of positive energy. Show off a new trailer, announce the start for the open beta, and announce pre-orders. And give us that date, hopefully. Because there were conversations, behind the scenes that Diablo was trying to hit 2022. Obviously, we know now that wasn't something that they could do. But I also know that internally, there's been a lot of people within Blizzard beta testing Diablo 4 as well for about 6 months now. So Diablo 4 has been in some beta capacity for quite some time. So getting the open beta out to the public, kind of to satiate people in the meantime while they wait. I agree that June seems a little bit late. But also when the first report came out that it was targeting an April release date, Mike Ybarra took to Twitter and said, "Don't believe everything you read." So Mike Ybarra had some, criticisms of the initial report and the April release date. But that being said...
Yeah, Mike doesn't hold back. He tells it how it is.
That being said, I still think we're going to see Diablo 4 at the Game Awards, and I still think they're going to announce an open beta at the Game Awards.
Okay. I like it.
Colt, Call of Duty. Are we seeing anything Call of Duty? We just had
Call of Duty
Warzone 2.0 drop. We just had Modern Warfare 2 drop. But the Call of Duty annual machine, it just keeps on churning. Are you expecting anything from Call of Duty at the Game Awards this year?
I would say no. I mean, the next game is a year off, so I don't think they're going to be communicating the next Call of Duty. They're still actively selling what they have right now with those two games. So I would say no.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say no on Call of Duty as well.
Unless they've got like some type of promo with like moon pies or Mountain Dew.
We could see a Warzone 2.0 commercial. That's if we see Call of Duty, that's what I'm expecting. They're bringing Snoop Dogg back to Call of Duty.
There you go.
Warzone. Because I gotta say, I booted up Warzone 2.0, and while I do like DMZ, I do like some of the changes. All the drip from Warzone's gone. So there's no Jigsaw from Saw isn't there. Snoop Dogg isn't there, and come on, man. When you're trying to compete with Fortnite, you can't take that away.
No, Fortnite's got it going.
Colt, Crash
yes,
Bandicoot.
Sir.
This is one that our good pal Jez Corden and Sir Rand al Thor have talked about somewhat recently. And there's
there's
this idea that there might be this like Crash Bandicoot party style game floating around in the ether somewhere. And a lot of people, because of this report and this rumor, are like, yo, where's Crash Bandicoot? All right. Crash has been on the sidelines for too long. He needs to get his glow up. Crash Bandicoot 4, while critically beloved, was not a huge commercial success. So they're probably reevaluating Crash Bandicoot a little bit. That being said, are we going to see our orange boy at the Game Awards this year?
A Crash Bandicoot party game?
I think the rumored name or suggested name is Wumpa League. Chat,
wow,
correct me if I'm wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that was
really legit if there's a name. Crash Bandicoot 4 was really great. I guess those games have kind of had their time, I suppose, but sure. That sounds like one of those where there's smoke, there's definitely fire. So let's put Crash Bandicoot in the yes category.
We're going to slap Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, just
agreed.
We got to keep the dream alive, all right? Crash Bandicoot needs to come back and needs to blow up, all right?
John Otaku in the chat says it's confirmed already according to him. So he must be hearing stuff that some people must be hearing enough to think that these rumors are hot.
Yeah,
hot
these rumors
go.
There's been several reports and several people have commented on the Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League. So now people are in the camp of, well, all right, when are we seeing it? So Crash Bandicoot, Mario Party filler. If this, the Activision Blizzard acquisition goes through, that would fill the little family niche for Xbox, since they killed Fusion Frenzy, Colt.
Yeah,
they just bring Fusion Frenzy back, but this might fill that gap.
And Space Novakin, don't stop it. He says Scalebound.
Oh,
are we gonna see Scalebound at the? We'll just leave that one off the list for now. How about that?
Yeah, we'll do that at the community section at the end. We'll put Scalebound in there, and I'll let you know where that's going. Well, are we seeing new Overwatch characters, modes, season passes at the Game Awards?
I want to say no because I don't care.
It's not whether or not you care. It's
I know.
Whether or not we'll
I know.
see it.
No, I don't know. Did they have new characters in the works that they've been dying to tell us about?
I mean,
don't know. I'll let you vote on this one because when I loaded up Overwatch like a few weeks ago, it was loaded full of characters. Like I didn't even know who to start with. So
I'm gonna throw it in maybe just because of the weird relationship that Jeff has had with Overwatch. We had the reveal, quote unquote, where it was just like concept art for two characters a while back. And a lot of people have criticized Overwatch 2 because even though there are a lot of characters, there aren't a lot of new characters in Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is pretty much the main roster of Overwatch 1 with 2, maybe 3 now with the new season. So not a lot of new characters.
Okay.
One final bonus one here for Activision Blizzard. We're gonna see a new reveal, whether it be a new IP or we know Blizzard is working on a survival game. They have come out and publicly said that they are working on a survival game. I know Jez Corden has talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some gameplay for this Blizzard survival thing. Do you think?
I didn't think it was even far enough to. Wow. I mean, I was going to be a definitive no because that announcement is like 6 or 8 months old, isn't it?
Yes. So the announcement
Really?
was the recruiting announcement. The announcement was saying, "Hey,
Okay.
we're working on this. Come join our team. Come help build this out." So that being said, even though I have seen gameplay for it, um, it's not indicative of the final state by any
Sure.
means. And with these survival games, they go through a lot of iterative processes. So with it being this huge open world survival game, this huge, most likely akin to something like Ark, it's most likely going to be in that Blizzard's take on Ark, basically. That being said, that could still be a ways out, but
Like a third person or a first person type game, or has anybody said?
they haven't said publicly. Has not been said
Okay.
publicly whether it's first or third person.
All you could say is you've seen like work in the works.
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
don't wanna spoil more than that.
No,
but
I mean, I'm not like ambush. I mean, this is your show. I'm just trying to ask what is actually. I don't look to like sneak information out of people. From what you just said, Miles, I would put that either in a maybe or a yes, because Blizzard can get people really excited, and I think while they're in this regulatory process, they need to make sure that their shareholders look nice and toasty and cozy. So
Yeah.
announcing a big new IP at the Game Awards would be very, very healthy for them. So even if it's something that they pre-render and it's very short, a 1 minute, like this is what it is, or it's project something, or they are ready to reveal the name and they don't even have a release date window at all, would be massive for Blizzard. So I would put that really close to yes. I'll go ahead and say yes, and you can be the deal breaker.
I'm gonna put it in maybe, because as much as I want that, and I do agree that Blizzard needs something to keep people happy. I don't know what the timelines on their projects are, and they just
2-3 years
shipped
out, it could be
Call of Duty, so they're probably going to coast on Warzone 2 for a bit. But that being said, I want to see some
Diablo coming. Yeah, they've got
their slate's pretty set right now. They're looking pretty good for the most part. All right, Colt, let's talk about Capcom, baby. Capcom. Incredibly busy.
Dead Rising 5.
Oh, man. Don't get me going like that, dude. Don't.
I love that series so much. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Dead Rising. That's a good shout. I don't actually have it on my list here, but let's start with Resident Evil 4, which is
I was just kidding.
Confirmed title for 2023, coming in March, pending any delays. Fingers crossed there's no delays there. But Resident Evil 4, the remake of one of the most highly anticipated, or one of the most beloved games of all time, coming March 2023. Colt, are we going to get more? We've gotten the dedicated Resident Evil showcase. We've seen a lot of Resident Evil 4 already, and it's dropping in March. Is Capcom going to lean into the Game Awards with this, or are they going to just kind of save it for their own thing?
I think they don't need to, so I don't expect it to be there.
Yeah.
That's my vote. What are you thinking? Don't let me guide what you think. I'm just trying to think. There's only so much we're going to see, and I have to pick and choose what I think these companies would really need to showcase.
Exactly. That's why I'm conflicted, because from a marketing perspective, yeah, let's ramp up This is our big game. This is our big end of the fiscal year game, Resident Evil 4. Let's get it out to as many places and faces as we possibly can. So
I mean, it's got a legacy, and their remasters have done really, really well. I really enjoyed them. So they kind of sell themselves, but you're right. You don't just say, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm moving to maybe. I'm going to cop out. I'm going to do a maybe over here, because I do think we do see, even if it is just a new trailer, it makes sense to get it out there. One that's been kind of oddly silent for a little while after its initial reveal as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, Pragmata. We got the debut trailer for that, the weird sci-fi Capcom project. If I remember correctly, it also had a
spaceman in
spaceman with a
Times
cat.
Square.
Yeah.
I forgot
about that game. That game's
been
quiet for a while. That game's been really quiet for a long time. And I feel like we're kind of due to see something on it. And PlayStation, a lot of people were holding out for that PlayStation showcase that didn't happen this year. So
nope.
I kind of feel like we could see it. What do you think about Pragmata?
I think it's due. So yeah,
let's slap that. And yes, Pragmata is going to be there, baby. Let's go.
Too many games get announced like in 2020, and then they go radio silent for 2 years, and it's a bummer.
Uh-huh.
Because that's a game that I forgot about. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a multiplat. Who made that? I don't remember. And that happens.
Yeah, people want the juice. People want the deets, all right? And we've had the whole, is our PlayStation and Xbox going to hold back? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more because I
can't wait.
I have a conspiracy theory about that whole situation there. But there are the conversations that because of all of the mess, because of all of the juicy drama with Activision Blizzard, that these companies aren't going to be showing off big exclusives because they're scared. The regulators are going to look at it and go, hey, you said that's bad. What are you doing? And like, don't know. Don't pay attention. We're good. Everything's good here. So
you don't have games?
You don't know. We don't have games. Nobody has games. Xbox and PlayStation they're taking a break from games for 2 years. Xbox fans right now are like, they already took one for 2022. All right, Resident Evil 9. We just came off the back of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. And I'm not going to spoil anything here. But Resident Evil Village seems to set up the future of the franchise. And the Shadows of Rose DLC continues to set up the future for Resident Evil. There was a data mine, quote unquote, a leak, quote. I don't think has been verified by anyone that reputable, but there was this rumor making the rounds that Capcom was working on 2 more Resident Evil games. A Nintendo Switch Resident Evil exclusive about one of the characters going to college. It takes place at a university. And then another one was Resident Evil 9, which would star Rose. And so now that Shadows of Rose has come out, maybe that was the initial. Maybe they got the wires crossed, and it's not actually a new Resident Evil game, but just DLC for Resident Evil 9. That being said, do you think we see anything on the next Resident Evil title at the Game Awards 2022?
Now that one I would put in the yes. Yeah, I would if they've got something in the works that's new.
Slap it in the yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 9 at we're building the dream Game Awards list here, Colt. We're building.
We're setting ourselves up for ultimate disappointment now. I mean, there were rumors that this show was a little smaller, and Jeff tries to get everybody excited while he doesn't try to maintain expectations. He hypes everybody up. I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly.
I think we have a pretty, especially with the maybes, like you can hang out with maybe all day long and no one will mind. But I think we're pretty solid
Jeff
so far.
He's been making some claims. All right. I know it's his job to hype up the show. That's his main prerogative is to get people excited to tune into the Game Awards. But then he's coming out and saying stuff like, I've never been more excited about a show before. And he's saying all these things about how, some of these announcements have been in the works for years. So he's saying all of these little things that set the expectations for the show incredibly high. So even though it is shorter than it was but what was it last year? 4 hours? It was a gauntlet, I feel like. It was a marathon. The Game Awards has been a marathon in the past. So saying it's going to be shorter doesn't mean all that much if it's like 3.5 hours, 3 hours. But I don't know if he's given a new runtime yet, and I don't think they'll have that until maybe a day.
Yeah, and he's like, "Here's Jed and the Moonshine Jug Band with a song from and it goes on for 8 minutes."
This year, I'm gonna be in the crowd, just amped up about the Moonshine Band, though, dude. There better be a Metal Hellsinger performance. That's all I'm saying. There better be a Metal Hellsinger medley with all of those metal vocalists out there just killing it.
Oh man, I love it.
Another big Capcom title that we've seen again. We've seen a lot of this particular title in recent months. There was a press event where people could go play it. I think it was at Summer Game Fest E3 as well, and it was playable there. So we've seen a lot of Street Fighter 6. There's been a lot of Street Fighter 6 recently.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this game, Miles.
Capcom's schedule is outrageous, Colt. It's so.
I mean,
packed.
we are truly spoiled when we can't even we don't have room in the corner of our minds for all these games that are coming out next year.
When a giant game like Street Fighter just slips your mind. Yeah, that's how you know 2023 is looking ridiculously stacked for games. So Street Fighter 6. I'm of two minds. We've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of Street Fighter 6. Also, it's coming early-ish next year. Again, doesn't have a release date. I imagine it'll come after Resident Evil 4. So,
Mayish, probably May. Yeah, I'm gonna say May, but go ahead.
what do you think? Do you think they need to show it? Do you think they will show it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not? I think they should. I feel like we've seen lots of bits and pieces, lots of Chun-Li thighs going on.
That character creator, Colt, have you taken some time to check that out? That magic, the beauty of the robust character creation in that game.
Keyword being bust.
Oh,
There's a character creator. I will be on that for hours. I did not know that.
It reminds me of Ark. Like, some of the characters that people created were just monstrosities, the ugliest, most disproportionate bodies imaginable, and seeing them get in the ring with their baby arms is just, oh.
When I make a character, I make handsome Chad Colteastwood, and I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. A real jawline, huge pecs, Colt Eastwood, pointy hair, ripped beyond all belief. I am there.
Giga Colt. All right, let's go. Monster Hunter World 2, Colt. We know Monster Hunter Rise hitting PlayStation and Xbox in January. Dropping in Xbox Game Pass as well in January. But a lot of people, and really the franchise as a whole, blew up with Monster Hunter World. That was in a lot of ways the title that took that franchise to the next level. It was established, it was beloved, but it didn't really get universal mainstream success until Monster Hunter World hit, and it came to all of these consoles. So I want to know, when the hell are we seeing Monster Hunter World 2? Because sure, I'm hyped about Rise. I'm going to be playing Rise. Yeah. But it's not quite World. It doesn't do the reveal trailer for Monster Hunter World. Like, it took me a good 2 minutes to realize that was a Monster Hunter game because of how different things looked and how different they changed the world. And so I'm excited, and I want to see what's next. Do you think we're seeing that at the Game Awards?
I don't think it's time yet, so I would say no.
No!
That's too early for me.
We're slapping that hard in the no. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'd agree. I'd say, like you said, there's only so much we can see at this show. And I think because Resident Evil 4 is coming soon, that makes the most sense. And Street Fighter 6 is coming, that makes the most sense. And Pragmata we haven't seen in a while, so sure, why not? Monster Hunter World 2, we don't even know if that's a thing. So, yeah, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, here's another juicy one. Here's another publisher that gets people all hot and bothered, gets people all riled up anytime there's any show of any kind, and that is FromSoftware, Colt. So, if you've been on social media today, out of nowhere, out of the blue, FromSoftware said, "Hey, Arena DLC, Coliseum DLC for Elden Ring. Boom, it's real, it exists. Guess what? It's dropping tomorrow." So, FromSoftware on a random Tuesday shadow dropped the first piece of DLC for Elden Ring, and people are losing their minds, because I would have bet you money. I would have bet you $100 that we would have saw the first piece of Elden Ring DLC, specifically the Arena DLC. If you've been paying attention to the data mines and all of the stuff involved there, it was obvious that there was going to be some big Coliseum PvP mode coming to the game. So before today, I would have bet you $100 that we would have saw this at the Game Awards. Because this is dropping the day before the Game Awards, that's got me thinking, okay, what's FromSoft got up their sleeves, Colt?
Right. Yeah, people were like, as soon as they saw that. I don't know what else they could be doing. How long does it take them to build a game? How long did Elden Ring take
They
them?
are hyper efficient. This team does a game almost every other
months or something?
Every other year, it feels like. Every other year, they're pumping something out. So,
I mean, Elden Ring was just in April, wasn't it?
That was February. February is when Elden Ring dropped. Yeah. So
it just seems too soon for them to announce another FromSoftware game.
They're crazy like that.
Let's do a solid for the PlayStation only fans to say they are ready to do Bloodborne 2.
Oh, wait, hold on. You jumped ahead. We'll be talking about that later. No.
What? Oh, why would that? I'm just kidding. I mean, they've been waiting for that game to get enhanced and everything. No, I don't think they have anything ready, but I don't know a whole
I
bunch.
think they do. I think they do. So
You
the
think
first
they
one I
do,
want to
huh?
ask is, was the Elden Ring DLC, the Colosseum drop, the PvP mode, was that just a taster? Was that just a teaser for a big future piece of DLC? Because they didn't frame this really as a gigantic expansion like they've done with previous titles. They frame
Yeah.
this as a new mode, some new ways to play PvP in Elden
Sure.
Ring. So do you think that they dropped that so they could pave way for the real Elden Ring DLC? Because some people on Twitter are like, yo, where's the story mode? PvP is cool and all, but where's the big, juicy story DLC for Elden Ring?
Oh. Yeah, that does make sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd put that in a yes, because there's no way you just drop that expansion part the day before the Game Awards. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd go with
see,
that.
I'm gonna throw in a maybe. I'm gonna move it over here to maybe. Just because I feel like my theory, and we're going to talk about this a bit more, is that they moved that out of the way to make room for their next big announcement. Because a lot of people, like myself, are going to the Game Awards saying FromSoftware is going to show off the Elden Ring DLC. They have to show off the Elden Ring DLC, so they got that out of the way. They said, here it is, but that's not what we want to show at the Game Awards, Colt. And so now we got to talk about a few other titles.
Okay.
One I've seen exploding online in the rumor mills is Sekiro 2. And Sekiro was the ninja-themed, Activision-published FromSoftware Souls-like.
Game of the year in 2019?
Game of the year winner, 2019, baby. So FromSoftware is poised to potentially get back-to-back Game of the Year wins. If Elden Ring wins Game of the Year... Ooh, so there's a lot of energy. So, does FromSoftware, a team that does, or I should say Miyazaki more specifically, is a man who doesn't really seem to love sequels. He's not the biggest fan of sequels. He would rather build new IP. Are they going to go back to that well and do a Sekiro 2? And do you think if they are, that's getting announced at the Game Awards?
I mean, Sekiro sold really well. Well beloved. It's something you probably need to make. Wow. I'd put that in a maybe.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. No Sekiro 2 at the Game Awards.
Seems early.
Yeah.
It really seems early for FromSoftware at all, unless they're talking about expansions. So
this next one, though, I think has a strong possibility of making an appearance, and that's the new Armored Core. So if you've been following the conversations surrounding Armored Core, it is one of FromSoftware's longest running IP. It started back on PlayStation 1. There has been, I think, 5 total, if we're not counting spin-off, 5 mainline Armored Core games, but it has been a long time since there was a new Armored Core. I believe Xbox 360? PS3, correct me if I'm wrong there. It's been a hot minute. And there was a survey making the rounds that suggested potentially that they were looking to bring it back. And there was some data mined information from this survey, or some highlighted information from this survey that suggested that Miyazaki of Dark Souls fame, of Elden Ring fame, of Bloodborne fame, was going to step in and direct an Armored Core. And so that got a lot of people speculating on what this might mean. There was talk of aliens in this as well. So there's talks that, again, the meme was that, oh, what, is Miyazaki going to make Armored Core a Souls-like now? Are they going to do a Armored Core Souls-like? So I'm of the camp that I think we're going to see Armored Core as the next FromSoftware title. So if they're showing something at the Game Awards, that would be my pick. But how do you feel?
Okay. I mean, I can't really add much more to that because I don't know a whole lot about Armored Core, but okay. I'll stay with you on that one.
Okay. And then one more, because like we talked about, Miyazaki, he gets bored with sequels, all right? He didn't want to do a Dark Souls 2, but then they did Dark Souls 2, somebody else did, and then it didn't get received in the same way. So he's like, hold on, I got to go back and do a Dark Souls 3. I got to wrap this thing up. We can't leave it on Dark Souls 2. People weren't happy with that. Elden Ring, there was Demon Souls, then there was Bloodborne, then there was Dark Souls, then there's Elden Ring, then there's Sekiro. A lot of similarities between all of these games. A very similar style, but not the same. Very different in a lot of ways. So do you think, no, it's not going to be Sekiro 2. No, it's not going to be a new Armored Core. They're going to announce a new IP. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think they're ready. So I don't even expect FromSoftware to be there until we start talking about the DLC thing. So
all right, new IP shot down. No new IP. Sorry.
Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, I think, like I said, I think if anything is going to be there from FromSoftware, and I think because the fact that they dropped the DLC trailer a few days before, they definitely have something. I can't imagine that they don't have anything because of the way that because even that trailer alone would have been hype. If they could have just waited until December 8th.
That's what I was thinking.
And
why not just announce this at the Game Awards?
Yeah, Shadow dropped that at the Game Awards. That would be huge. So maybe it's just a weird move. Maybe there is nothing going on at all. Maybe FromSoftware is not going to be there at all. And they're just like, yeah, sure. We'll drop the DLC on a Wednesday. Whatever. It's fine. Let's move on with it. But I have to imagine that they're paving the way for something else there. All right. Now we're getting into the big three, Colt. Now we're getting to the big three publishers in the space. Let's start with the homies over at PlayStation.
Okay.
And let's start with the meme that won't die, the game, an enhancement that people want more than anything else, and that's Bloodborne. Is Bloodborne going to be at the Game Awards? Is it coming to PC? Is it hitting 60 FPS? Or are we getting Bloodborne 2? Is the word Bloodborne going to be at the Game Awards in any capacity, Colt?
I'm going to say no, and here's why.
Oh no. Don't crush them like this, please. They need it.
Bloodborne sold a whopping 2 million copies on PlayStation. That is akin to, let me see, I'm gonna find a non-banger Xbox game. How about like Quantum Break? Let's see what Quantum Break sold. Because people, I think Sunset Overdrive sold about 2 million as well. Darn, I can't get that answer super quickly. But yeah, Bloodborne is not a big seller. It's just a well-loved cult classic. So I don't think it justifies getting that treatment. Everyone's been asking for it. And some of the reason why a lot of Xbox games get the next-gen treatment is because of FPS boost. You know,
yeah,
they get it automatically gets a great upgrade for performance, and then it gets an upgrade in resolution with the Hochi method. Like, that's a really cool thing if you're on Xbox on a console. So I'm going to say no for Bloodborne.
Yeah, as much as I want it, and as much as it bums me out that of all of the FromSoftware games, Bloodborne is the weird one just stuck at 30 FPS. I don't know that we'll see it because of the things you touched on. As much as I love FromSoftware, they pretty much never go back and touch their games. Dark Souls 3 on Xbox is only 60 FPS because Xbox had to go in and basically reverse engineer that. Like, I sat down with Jason Ronald and talked about all of the work that went into the FPS boost version of that, and they had to go like region by region and adjust these parameters to make sure that the game didn't break. So they had to do a lot of work behind the scenes to get Dark Souls 3 running at 60 FPS, and they did that just so that wasn't the one platform that didn't have Dark Souls at 60 FPS, because that was the reality. You could play Dark Souls at 60 FPS pretty much everywhere else but Xbox. So they took it in their own hands. But with Bloodborne, unless PlayStation has a team going in and reverse engineering it or remaking it, which who knows? I mean, maybe that's the logical way to do it, is just have Bluepoint remake Bloodborne.
There you go.
And if they do that,
Bluepoint do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go, baby. Because the Demon Souls remake, incredible, fantastic, beautiful, love that. And if they did the same with Bloodborne, boom, day one, and we can play it at 60 FPS. But I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and say, oh. All right. What about Kojima? If you've been on Twitter today, my timeline from Twitter has been nothing but Kojima retweets of Death Stranding fan art. It's been like
Oh, really?
10 straight hours of Death Stranding 2 fan art that he's just like religiously retweeting. More than I've ever seen in my entire life. It's out of control. I know he's very active with the community, generally speaking, but there have been a lot of things happening, especially in the Kojima camp, that suggest he's been teasing something. He's been teasing up a storm. The who am I, where am I promos. There's been a lot of stuff that suggests Kojima has something in the works. We had Norman Reedus on a podcast earlier this year just casually say that, oh yeah, we're working on the sequel to Death Stranding.
Oh my gosh.
God
Yeah.
damn it, Norman, you freaking dork. And so there's been a lot of stuff that suggests maybe a sequel, even if it's not called Death Stranding 2 per se, is happening. So that leads me to ask you, Colt, will we see Death Stranding 2 or it's the Death Stranding successor at the Game Awards?
I mean, that's one of those that just keeps pointing, so I would put that in the yes category.
I'm going to say yes. Death Stranding 2, baby. Let's go. And hopefully they bring out Norman. They get the whole gang up there. Ellie Fanning. The current speculation is that Ellie Fanning potentially could be the new lead character in this.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, he was making a big deal about her coming onto the project, so yeah.
Final Fantasy. We know Final Fantasy's synonymous with PlayStation. We know that the director of Final Fantasy 16 is going to be at the Game Awards presenting. So will we see Final Fantasy at the Game Awards?
Final Fantasy 16?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. They're due. They're due for another big showing. So we've seen a lot already. And they're launching Final Fantasy 16. When is that? Because Forspoken is early in the year, like January, February. So I think they're due. Yeah.
I think they're due. I'm with you. Final Fantasy, yes, we will see it. Silent Hill. This rumor will not die, even though we just had a dedicated Silent Hill showcase not that long ago. I kid you not, immediately after the showcase, there were reports and rumors and speculation that, oh wait, there's more. Even though they just announced 4 Silent Hill games, there's actually 2 more in the works. And it's been a lot. It's been hard to wrap my head around this constant Silent Hill just fanaticism.
The whole mess of the blue box.
People are still in the camp that there might actually be a Silent Hill PlayStation exclusive. Even though we already have Silent Hill 2 as a timed PlayStation exclusive, some people still believe that there's a Silent Hill full-on PlayStation exclusive. Colt, what is your take on that? Are we getting a 5th and 6th Silent Hill game?
I mean, I thought that was like a really solid rumor when it broke like a month ago. So I think Silent Hill is an exclusive to PlayStation. It sounds solid to me. Will we see it at this? I'm a maybe on that one.
You know what? Just for fun, just for fun, I'm gonna slap it. I'll slap it in maybe with you. I'm of the camp that probably not, just because we had the whole dedicated Silent Hill blowout. I find it so weird that Konami would have a dedicated Silent Hill showcase and then save arguably the biggest reveal from the showcase and give it to Jeff at the Game Awards. But who knows? Maybe it is a thing. So we'll throw it in maybe just for fun here. Will we see Spooderman? Will we see Spider-Man 2? We got the nice little reveal trailer. Will we see Spider-Man 2 at the Game Awards?
I mean, the game comes out in 10 months from then. No.
No?
Yeah, I mean, when I take a step back, I actually don't expect to see anything exclusive to PlayStation at the show.
I find that
even though from first party, I mean. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
From first party. Yeah. I don't think Spider-Man needs to be shown yet.
It's supposed to come out in 2023 though, right?
It is supposed to come out probably in September of 2023. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you could definitely save it for your summer-ish showcase or a spring showcase.
Yeah. I mean, they have showcase and they have a dedicated state of play for their major titles. So it might be too early to show Spider-Man 2.
Okay. I'm gonna slap
And you
it in.
definitely won't see Wolverine if that's the next thing you're gonna pop on the screen.
No,
I'll
no.
slap you.
I didn't have Wolverine because yes, we will see.
Marvel just recently said that at least 2025, and I don't know why people were thinking it was coming really soon.
I think it's just because
that's not how video games work.
Efficient Insomniac is, but yeah, that was definitely just a trailer that revealed the fact that this project was a real thing, much like the Elder Scrolls. We got that we got that reveal, and that game is
in 2019, I think it was 2019. Yeah,
and that's not coming anytime soon. Not anytime soon. All right, let's move on to Nintendo. There's some fun. I want to have a little fun with this because there have been some big rumors. Yeah. And there are some rumors that folks like Jeff Grubb in particular, his hair is on the line for some of these rumors.
Right. I saw that yesterday.
Jeff Grubb is talking about cutting all of his hair off if stuff like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for Switch don't get revealed because of some drama that happened earlier in the year regarding one of the Nintendo Directs. So there's a lot of there's some high stakes in the Nintendo camp, and there's been some interesting developments as well. So the first one I want to talk about is the Switch Pro. With the launch of the last 2 Pokemon games, there's been a lot of debates about the Switch hardware. And we all know the Switch has been underpowered. There's nobody out here who's trying to say the Switch is a powerhouse. It gets the job done in a lot of ways, all right? I have nothing against my Switch. I use it frequently, but it ain't a powerhouse. So we've seen Xbox announce hardware. Infamously, the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards. Do we think the mad lads at Nintendo say, yo, here's the Switch Pro. Get amped. Do you think they do anything that wild? Or am I just completely out of line here?
That's really, you can never predict what Nintendo will do. And you definitely shouldn't predict that their next hardware is the Switch Pro. Because they did that with the DS. They had the DS XL, they had the 3DS. They just kept moving forward, and they had great success. But you can never make a prediction based on what they've done in the past.
Yeah, they're I would be wild card.
They are. Whenever someone tries to say, well, regarding Xbox, well, Nintendo does this, regarding PlayStation, I'm like, you can't. They don't belong in the same discussion. They are totally doing their own thing. We would be more apt to see them announce a whole new console, whatever they deem is their next piece of hardware. Then then I would believe that they would say, here's the Switch Pro, which is slightly bigger, slightly thicker, more powerful, which makes sense to all of us.
Yeah, it's what all of us want.
And I think that if somebody was like, you have to put your money on the line on this prediction, Colt, I would put my money in the basket that says a whole new named console that is not an iterative console from the Switch.
Yeah, Nintendo, like you said, every time they put out a new home console, it has been something wildly different. And because of the massive success of the Switch, a lot of people are saying, no, don't do that. We love this. We love this thing that you've done. We've loved this thing that you built. Please don't make it weird. Please don't make it totally different than this because we really like this. We just want this to be more powerful. And so I want to believe that they are listening to that feedback and saying, okay, well, we are working on the new console that's going to be completely different and weird, but we're also, in the interim, we want to do something that appeases those fans. So at the Game Awards, though, do you think, I guess, regardless if it's the Switch Pro or a new console, do you think that's something we could see at the Game Awards this year?
Well, can I change that vote to be them announcing hardware instead of just saying Switch Pro? I mean, I don't want you to write that differently, but would you agree with me that we could at least say, are they going to announce new hardware or not? Not whether or not it's going to be the Switch Pro. Because is it time for Nintendo to use the Game Awards to announce new hardware? Answer that, Miles.
Okay, let me combine this with another big title here. Tinfoil hat time here. All right, so Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That is their biggest release, slated for 2023.
Right.
Zelda Breath of the Wild coincided with the launch of the original Switch. There has been...
And don't expect Tears of the Kingdom to be next generation, and don't expect it to do things that couldn't be done on Nintendo Switch. I fully expect it to be the same great formula that people love.
It's definitely going to run on the current Switch iteration. But, you know, again, tinfoil hat time, Colt, because when that Tears of the Kingdom gameplay trailer first dropped, a lot of people pointed out that it looked better than Breath of the Wild, and it looked like it was doing things that the base Switch couldn't do with an open world game. From lighting to texture quality, there was a lot of the Digital Foundry team in particular took a look at that trailer and said, there's some interesting questions here. So in an unconventional move, that was rendered on PC. Nintendo typically, when they use gameplay, they render it on their own hardware. This could have been rendered on PC. Or B, this was actually being built and run on some updated hardware. Some updated Nintendo hardware, and that this is actually going to potentially, coincide with a launch of some sort of updated hardware. So my conspiracy theory is right now is that I could see March-ish Nintendo saying, here's a enhancement to the Switch. Here's the upgrade to the Switch. Release that alongside another title, update a few existing titles, and then Tears of the Kingdom will be a cross-generational thing.
You're saying they wouldn't say it till March-ish, or they wouldn't have that ready until March?
I'm saying the new hardware, my guess, if they're trying to ship it, would be what they did last time around, about March. The hardware itself would come a little before Tears of the Kingdom. And then guess what? Tears of the Kingdom on the new Switch is $70.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Nintendo just watching on the sidelines as PlayStation and Xbox raised those prices to $70. Like, oh, we can get a piece of that, baby.
Thanks for paving the way.
Yeah, you just made our job a lot easier, baby. So on base Switch, yeah, you can play it. It runs. It's $60, but if you want that new Switch goodness, that new Switch hotness, $70, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
So hardware. Are you in the yes camp? We're going to see new Nintendo hardware at the Game Awards.
No, because I think they should do that on their own event where they can just do a whole thing. Like that should be a whole deal.
I would say no. As fun as it would be, as hype as it would be, I don't think we'll see it there. What about Tears of the Kingdom? I'm firmly in yes. I think we'll see a trailer there in a big way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Another just permeating rumor. Metroid Prime 4. A game that was revealed, and then they had to come out and say, hey gang, sorry, actually we got to start this bad boy over. Things weren't going well. We got to redevelop it. So it's been revealed for 4 or 5 years now at this point, maybe even longer than that. It has been revealed for a hot minute. We still haven't seen gameplay. Metroid Prime 4 has been announced for a long time, and we haven't seen anything on it. So that is another one that every single Nintendo Direct, every Nintendo showcase, somebody suggests we might see Metroid Prime 4. So is this the one? Metroid Prime 4 at the Game Awards. Get hype. Jeff did say, some of these announcements have been years in the making, so I don't know.
When I hear things like that, I'm in the yes and maybe category. Yeah, I mean, I don't often get insider information, especially about Nintendo stuff. When I hear Jeff say things, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, right. So I put that in a maybe.
I'm going to throw that in maybe. I'm going to throw that in a solid maybe. Just for the Metroid fans, And then this one here. Zelda Wind Waker and Zelda Twilight Princess for Switch. These are the titles that Sir Jeff Grubb has his hair on the line for, folks. All right, so these, for the sake of his hair, these need to happen. So just for the energy, just for the goodwill, I'm going to throw these in the yes camp. For the sake of Jeff Grubb's hair, all right? Sure, I want to play these games. Yes, I want to play these games on Switch. I would love to play Twilight Princess on Switch. But also, we can't let that happen to Jeff, okay? we just can't.
No, the luxurious locks. They must remain. Yeah, I thought it was too late. I thought he already had to shave his head. But
I think he has until the end of the year. So I think this is the last hope, really.
There was some game that had to release by November that somebody was calling him out on that I saw. I thought it was funny. So
we got we got the old sex bots have entered the chat.
I didn't see him. Did you already slam?
Yeah. I asked, I slammed
That's how you know the show's banging, bro.
That's how you know the show's banging. Huge shout out to everyone who's tuning in, hanging out. If you're digging the show, hit the like button, share it. If you're new to the channel, I forget, I haven't really talked about it too much on here, but yes, I just started the channel a couple weeks ago. So Colt, thank you this is your debut on the new channel over here. So thanks for stopping by.
Squeaky clean. I like it.
This next one was for Rand specifically. But Rand's not here, so Colt.
Yeah, we can throw that out. And...
are we seeing Pokemon at the Game Awards? I know Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just dropped. They've been memed into oblivion for their visuals and performance. But that hasn't stopped Nintendo before. Much like Call of Duty, the Pokemon machine does not stop. Every single year, a Pokemon game is coming out. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it runs. It's happening. So that being said, are they showing a new Pokemon game?
I don't know. No, this one's just out. It's too brand new. It's like 2 weeks old. No Pokemon game. What do you think?
I'm with you.
Okay.
No Pokemon game unless it's like Pokemon Teeth 2.0, that toothbrushing companion app for Pokemon. You never know.
Yeah, you get in the Nintendo category, and I'm like, I don't know.
Let's move on to a category you're more familiar with. As an Xbox focused content creator, let's talk about Big X. All right, we talked about this a little bit, but there's this fear in the community that Xbox isn't going to show much because they're afraid of the regulators. Okay, they're going to go to Microsoft Theater. And they're not going to show anything, Colt, because they don't want to seem like they have exclusives. They don't want to seem like they have games. It's a bad look, Colt. It's a bad look to have video games when you're complaining that you don't have video games. So,
yeah,
we got to talk about some things before we get into this topic here. All right, I was joking with Colt before we went live, but we've all heard the news about Xbox increasing the price of games. That was a huge conversation yesterday. Breaking news, Xbox came out and said, hey, moving forward, our biggest titles like Starfield, Redfall, Forza Motorsport, etc., they're going to be $70. All right, our current gen only games, the ones that are only coming out on Xbox Series X and S, they're going to be $70. Okay, desperate times call for desperate measures. Woe is us, making games is hard. You know this. You know the spiel. We've all heard it.
Yeah.
No, none of us want to pay more. And that's not something really any of us should be excited about. None of us want to pay more for video games. But that being said, Xbox has ripped off the Band-Aid. They came out on a random Monday and said, not this year, but going into next year, expect $70 video games. Do you know why I think they did that on a random Monday? A random Monday right before the Game Awards?
I mean, it's super weird that they did that, but there's some interesting speculation why. One reason would be that they wanted to get that information out before they have to make concessions or to make concessions. Michael Pachter was on my show last night. He said something that was totally outlandish. I don't think is possible, but he said they set the price of their games to 70 so that while they're doing this regulatory merger discussion, the regulators can say, look, we already we were worried about you jacking up the prices of games if you have a monopoly. So how about you bring your first party games back down to $60 and we'll let this deal go through. And they'll be like, oh, okay. We were going to leave them there anyway. I don't believe that's how they're doing it. But it is an interesting timing that they did the price adjustment now instead of waiting until the games were closer to release. The other reason might be that they want to reveal one of these games with a release date at the Game Awards. And so they're getting people prepared in 2022 for 2023.
I think you're exactly right. I think the reason that they announced on a random Monday right before the Game Awards that their games will be $70 is because they are going to come out and they are going to hit you with a release date at least, potentially multiple release dates, and pre-orders. So they're going to hit you with pre-orders, and they didn't want to be in a situation where they announce the game, they announce pre-orders, and then people go to the store and say, "What? This is $70?" So they jump in front of it. They said they're going to be $70, and then when those pre-orders hit, it's not a as much of a shock to the customer checking out the Xbox store. So that's my conspiracy as to why they did this on a random Monday right before the Game Awards, because I do think that despite all of the ABK drama, that they are going to show things. And let's start with one of the most highly anticipated games of 2023, Colt, and that is Starfield.
Right.
Starfield infamously got delayed. That was a high-profile delay. That was supposed to come out 11/11/22, Colt. People were supposed to be playing that game right now. What happened? And do you think we're going to see it at the Game Awards?
Well, there's a rumor that they did some Q&A to prepare the next trailer.
Oh?
And they asked the community to ask all your burning questions about the game so they can tackle them and build a trailer that answers the questions, what are we doing in Starfield? And they're long overdue. We got to see a lot. We saw at least 11 to 12 minutes of actual in-game footage from the 15-minute trailer in June. And it hasn't actually been that long, but somebody in the chat, who was it, said, DS Omen says that he expects Redfall pre-order to drop at the show for January 15th release date, and then a Starfield story trailer. There's so much more going on Xbox than just Redfall and Starfield, but I am really in the camp that Redfall is going to get an actual date at the Game Awards. They've been more willing to talk about that game, but they have been willing to talk about Starfield. So there are other things that need to be seen, though. So I would put Starfield in a maybe. So sorry that I'm on a tangent, but there's a lot going on.
In the maybe. I agree, because I'm of two minds. Yes, Starfield is Xbox's biggest game, confirmed for 2023. For sure. It was delayed. And people did see but people also saw gameplay not that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
We did get a pretty decent slice of gameplay. We had Todd come out, talk about the game. So we've gotten a decent amount about the game there. So they don't really need to show it at the Game Awards per se. But Redfall, as you mentioned, yes, 100% that needs to be shown. We need a new gameplay trailer. We need the general audience to be excited about this game. We need the general audience to be sold on Arcane doing a co-op game. And I think this is the one that they say, here's the date, you can pre-order right now. What do you think? You think they're going to go that hard with Redfall? I think
I think so with Redfall.
I think that's the call. I think that's absolutely the call with Redfall. Oh,
because I really do believe that Redfall is coming really early in 2023. And I also think that people aren't ready for this, but I think that Starfield is a lot sooner than we thought. A few months ago or a couple months ago, I would have said I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed it all the way out into holiday next year to get it right. But it sounds like they are readying things and they want to get that game out before the summer. You know, they said the 12-month thing, which would make Starfield needs to release before June. I think they're ready sooner than that.
Yeah, that was the big messaging point of that last showcase, which was controversial. People didn't like the 12-month thing, but they said everything you see here is 12 months. And that included Starfield. And that means, theoretically, they promised to deliver Starfield before June.
Yeah.
So, a hypothetical for you while I have you. What if Diablo 4 and Starfield are both June?
I mean, they're totally two different. They're two different groups of gaming
I mean, they're
fans.
two different genres. I wouldn't say two different groups of gaming fans. Like two
I
massive
also think
RPGs launching.
I also
in
think that
June.
Xbox has been in such a hole for 8 years that they cannot afford to say, let's make sure this game doesn't step on this other game. They need to get their games out as soon as they are ready. And if it means that two major games release within 1 or 2 months of each other, I don't think they'll do it that way because that's not how you run a business. But at this point, the fans who are like super excited about Starfield and that may not care about a Diablo, they need to just have that game dropped on them as soon as it's hot and ready to rock and edits. And I think that Xbox owes that to their fans that have been waiting as they released multiplats and contractual timed exclusives for other platforms. And those studios that they paid all that money for, and they've been sitting there and watching them work for everybody else except for Xbox. I think it's time for Xbox to get their content out onto their market ASAP. But when I say ASAP, we know full well that there's no longer the, okay, it's good enough Halo Infinite thing. They'll never do that again. And because they got burned hard. And dang, thankfully they did. As much as we love Halo Infinite, I was tired of Xbox saying, yeah, it's pretty good. Let's go. Let's ship it. So
fix it in post, baby. It's all gravy. It's all good, and it's out. People are, they're especially when they're going to be if they're going to be moving to $70 games now. That also says,
yes,
okay, we are stepping up.
Let me put it another way. Miles, I want you to pretend that you're let's pretend you're Obsidian's team who's been working on Avowed for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, and you guys are ready, and you're ready, and you've told Microsoft, look, we're ready. We are definitely ready by October, but we think we want to ship in September. We're ready. We want to hit that into the summer thing. We're ready. And worst case scenario, we could be October. We're ready for September. And Matt Booty's like, yeah, we're kind of packed then. Can we push into next year? Like, think about how you would feel.
We're kind of
as a studio.
I mean, those are going to have to be the conversations, though, because are they going to do another thing where they drop all of their biggest games within 4 weeks because that's when they all happen to be done? Because then do we want another situation where we have Forza, Halo, and then 11 months of nothing because everybody decided to drop the game at once? I think as annoying as it would be for those teams.
Well, that only happened, Miles, because Microsoft and Xbox were so adamant about hitting that 20-year anniversary, whole thing, and somebody should have smacked him for that. That wasn't the right call, because look at how people are reacting to Forza co-op right now. They're like, wow, where did this come from? I'm like, yeah, this is what the game should have been at launch. So if Halo would have been moved this year, Forza would have shined. And of course, they had Forza and what was it? Psychonauts 2, Flight Sim on console. Like they had a really good 2021.
Yeah.
And then 2022 would have been like nothing, but Halo would have come out with Forge banging, co-op banging, all of that content that they would have been working on throughout this year would have been launching right now or last month. Like, imagine. Hey, who would have thought I had a decent idea? I'm sorry. Keep going. Let's do your show.
I got to circle back to a super chat here from Sean Kramer related to the Nintendo talk. Missed this. Just like when they own the Mariners, Nintendo is too cheap for new hardware right now. I completely forgot that Nintendo owned the Mariners. What a time. What a
huge Mariner fan. I forgot that.
What a weird relic in history. Yeah, we're both, in Washington State right now. So that's the Mariners, Seattle Mariners baseball team. Nintendo, has their finger in a bunch of different pies, I guess.
Uh-huh.
All right, Colt, up next, Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is another one that we have seen a CG trailer for. We know the Crystal Dynamics, collaborating with The Initiative to co-develop Perfect Dark. We know they are working to get these games out in a more realistic and more reasonable timeline. Do we see anything for the Perfect Dark yet again at the Game Awards 2022?
No, Xbox likes to show gameplay footage the year of release, the 12 months before release.
Perfect Dark? No.
Is a no.
I agree. I will say anything and everything we see at this show is probably going to be gameplay, because they have heard that messaging loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
and they know that people are tired of just having the vague timeline for games. And again, that's just the reality. They were in a dire situation. They had to show what the future was, even though the future was a ways out. But now we're at a point where they need to show people what these games look like, and I think that's what they plan on doing.
Yeah, the CGI stuff is made for 2 to 3 years before or whatever like that. They're fine with that, and fans enjoy seeing something that's revealed that's not finished yet. But I've talked to Xbox, and they said our MO has always been show gameplay the year of release, and they were talking about the not the near number, but up to a year before they're ready to release. And I mean that helps. Like when you saw Gears 5 finally, like they waited way too late to show that. It looked great. So
yeah,
it's such a risk to show a game when it's not quite polished up. And
I mean, let's be honest. There's nothing more hype than seeing a game, seeing gameplay, getting amped up about it, and then having them say, "You're playing this in 6 months." Like that is, in my opinion, that is the way to do it, because there's just all of that raw energy surrounding it, and then there's that light, that very brief light at the end of the tunnel that says, like, I don't have to wait that long to play this. So I would love to see Xbox do that. They weren't, unfortunately, in a position where they could just wait, because then they would have years where they had nothing to message, which isn't a good look either. Avowed. We talked about this a little bit, but Matt Booty and the team, they're not going to show games, unless they're ready to be shown. We've heard some conflicting reports on the status. It seems like there is gameplay floating around for Avowed right now. Sounds like it's probably pre-alpha gameplay, so might be a ways to go for Avowed. Some people are also talking about, maybe Avowed's dropping in 2023. Maybe it's going to be a fall 2023 game. What's your take, Colt? Is this ready to be shown, and will we see it at the Game Awards 2022?
I've heard they've done some repolishing on Avowed, and that the game is scheduled for 2024, which really bothers me because I thought at this point they'd be ready. They acquired Obsidian in 2019, I think, and they've been working on Avowed since
Outer whatever the reveal. It was like right before the year that
it was 2019. I was at E3 that year. So the other studios, Playground, was it? I can't remember the first two they bought in the first chunk. But I figured by now they'd be ready to show something. But you know what? Regardless of that, I think Obsidian needs to show something in engine. Even if it isn't, I'll say this about another game that we're going to talk about in a minute, that I think it's time to say you have to show proof of concept. You have to show proof of life for these games. We know they're not delayed. Let me concentrate just on Avowed and say Obsidian needs to build a 1.5 minute trailer of flyover of a couple of environments that are polished up and ready to rock, even if there isn't anything animated in it, and just like maybe give a little more tone of the world, a little voiceover, and just say, hey, we're still here. We can't wait to talk about more. I think they need to do that for the fans.
Do they need to do that at the Game Awards, though?
Yes. Yes, they need to.
Avowed.
Because they were supposed to be, because I told my channel and my audience that the Avowed was going to make an appearance at last year's Game Awards. So yeah, I would say yes. They have to.
They have to. Okay, you're putting some big pressure on that team, all right? They got to step up. I'll leave it in yes, but I'm probably more in the maybe to no.
I'm in a maybe as well, but I'm really putting pressure.
All right, then I'm moving it to maybe.
Obsidian's amazing. And don't ever for a second think Obsidian can't do something amazing, like put together a really incredible trailer. And if that was something that they were talking about this summer, they can definitely pull it off. They are really incredible, and they have a really great communications team. So yeah, I mean, we could put it in maybe.
I think do it. Yeah, let's put it in maybe. Just again, Obsidian, I've said this publicly numerous times, they have proven to be one of the most efficient developers in modern gaming, just across the board. The amount of games they can put out that are quality is pretty incredible. So I think they can do it. But again, I think when we look at the Game Awards, and we look at the Game Awards this year, I think it's going to be focused on stuff that's a little bit closer. But
Yeah.
I would love to see Avowed. I would love to see the official big gameplay pop for Avowed. Next up, let's talk about Kojima yet again, baby. We did talk about Kojima with PlayStation and Death Stranding, but we also know that Kojima is working on a cloud-based game for Xbox. And Colt and I just talked about the 12-month strategy of their last showcase. And do you remember what was revealed at the last showcase, Colt?
At the last Xbox showcase?
Yeah, at the last Xbox showcase, where the focus was...
Oh, they revealed the partnership with Xbox, with Kojima, yeah. And
I thought that was interesting.
I said, I can't wait to see this all-ages, multiplayer, mobile card game from Kojima, exclusive to Xbox.
Okay, well, I don't think that's the case, okay? I don't think...
No. But there is this joke that... he's working on Death Stranding 2 for PlayStation, for Xbox. He's making some, really, some card, turn-based card game that's like very experimental, and he's just kind of messing with Microsoft's money. But then he's doing the bangers for PlayStation. That was the joke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know where you're going. All right, but there's been a lot of rumors regarding this. Overdose is the code name. Overdose is maybe the working name. And people like Tom Henderson have apparently seen a trailer for a Kojima horror game codenamed Overdose. There's a lot of coincidences tying that to this Xbox Cloud game and this Xbox Cloud project. So there's a contingent of people who believe that Kojima's Xbox Cloud project is actually the Kojima horror project. Whether or not that's the case, do you think we will see the Kojima Xbox project at the Game Awards?
I think it's got to be one or the other. And we put Death Stranding 2 in the S category, didn't we?
Yes. But
it's too... Well, I mean, I'm not the deal breaker, but
so
you're going to
what
say,
I want to
see.
Out. What I want to see is I want to see Kojima bring the gamers together. All right. I want to see Kojima at the Game Awards with 2 games. I want to see Death Stranding 2 as the PlayStation exclusive, and I want to see the new Xbox Cloud exclusive. And I want to see both of those games at the Game Awards at the same year, because I think that would be such an amazing just kind of flex, first off, for Kojima.
Yeah.
To say, yo, I'm doing what I want, working with whoever I want. If you want to play with my games, you got to go here. So just first off, just for the raw flex of Kojima, but also just because of how weird and cool it would be that they'd be able to work out the timing for 2 of these high-profile exclusives simultaneously. So I'm probably in the maybe camp, but I want to say yes just because of, I think, how hype that would be.
Yeah. I'll go with you on maybe on that one.
Yeah, we'll slap them.
No.
Yeah,
I think it's early to talk about Xbox's IP that he's working on, but I'll go maybe with you.
All right, cool. What about Hellblade 2? We've seen Hellblade at the Game Awards, 2-3 times? 2 times?
2 times, yes.
We've seen Hellblade in general, I think 3 times. Do you think they're showing Hellblade 2 at the Game Awards?
They need to show us real combat. They need to show us hand-to-hand combat and a look into what the game's going to be like when you play it, other than running away from a giant and throwing things at him. So, but I say no. I don't think Hellblade needs to be shown another time. I think the next time they show it, they need to be ready to talk about when it's coming out.
That's how I feel.
I feel like Ninja Theory is like, we're going to work on this game as long as we feel like we need to. We're in no rush to meet any sort of fiscal or quarterly agreement. They have finally, for the first time, they've had real funding, so they're trying to build a masterpiece. So I think no.
I'm kind of with you.
What were you thinking before I said all that?
No, I was thinking, I'm of 2 minds. They do it, like you said, and show off gameplay. They show off the actual combat gameplay just to give everyone an update. I'm of the mind that the next time, much like you, the next time we see it, I want the date. I don't care how long that is. I don't care how long we have to wait. I've already seen the world. I've already seen some behind the scenes. I kind of know what to expect. So the next time I see it, I want the big pop with the date. And so I hope that is, again, I don't think it's coming in the first half of next year. There is maybe a world where it drops as their big high profile holiday game. Let's say Starfield is trying to actually ship before the end of the first half of 2023. That would leave a huge high profile gap for the end of 2023. And so it would be amazing if they could get the timing in place so that Hellblade is that. Because Hellblade, I think, is going to be their, what do they call it? Like the Oscar bait, much like the Game Awards bait. All of the big kind of noteworthy games drop, right before the Game Awards. You can get that cred, that profile. I think Hellblade could be that. So with that being said, I don't think it'll be at the Game Awards because of that reason, and because we've already seen it twice at the Game Awards, so it feels just kind of redundant at this point, if I'm being honest.
Sure, I agree. Yeah.
All right, new reveal. Will any of the teams, Coalition, for example, will we see any new IP from Xbox at the Game Awards? Because a lot of people were mad that the last showcase focused on the 12 months, so they didn't get to see anything past that. They didn't get any big megaton new reveals because it was so focused on 12 months. Do you think that they saved one little pop, one little sprinkle, whether it be the new band, the banjo that people want, Compulsion's new project? Will we get one new project revealed from Xbox at the Game Awards?
Oh, yeah. The Xbox needs one big reveal that you're not expecting.
They've done it.
I don't know what that is, but
the last few years they've had that one.
Yeah, I think yes. I think there is something new that we didn't know about. Or my only fear is that it's games that we've heard of for a couple of years via Project blah blah blah. And there's a couple of Xbox Project blah blah blahs that I'm not super excited about. But there is the IO created Project Dragon, which is a 4-player third-person fantasy RPG. That Project blah 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 would be really good. But if it is Project, there's like a tower defense type game. Oh my gosh! Please don't, Xbox. You really need to get out in front and get that perception that we have big things in the works as well. So yes, new reveal needs to happen. And no, I don't believe they're sitting quietly, hiding from regulators. I think that's BS.
They are at Microsoft Theater. For them to just stand by and not have anything at Microsoft Theater seems ridiculous, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine they have. Again, I'm not expecting a huge blowout from Xbox this year, but I am expecting a handful of announcements, one of them being the Redfall release date, one of them being a new reveal of some kind, and then hopefully an update on one of the existing projects. We don't know what's going on with Everwild. We don't really know what's going on with Avowed. We don't really know what's going on with State of Decay 3. The list goes on and on and on of games that we don't really know what's going on about. So if they can do...
Yeah, like the Mav says Contraband, DS Omen says Compulsion.
Yeah.
With Project Midnight, there's a whole bunch of games we don't know where they are on them. Yeah. I've dug in as much as I possibly can.
Give the fans some hope, give them some optimism, and now we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So if you're hanging out watching this live, you're in the chat, appreciate you. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Helps out. We're gonna do a community section, so we're gonna look to your questions, comments. I'm gonna drop a link here if you want to guarantee it's picked here. But we are going to go through some stuff, some games that you have picked. The first up is going to be one that I want to talk about because it constantly gets brought up, and that is a little game called Scalebound. Because despite its turbulent development, despite its cancellation, people don't want to give up on the dream, Colt.
They don't.
And people want, Xbox to buy Platinum. They want, Platinum to take the IP and get somebody else to make it. So are we seeing Scalebound at the Game Awards this year, Cole?
Never.
No.
I mean, Phil is basically, he's completely irritated with the question, and he's asked people to stop asking. So, no.
Scalebound. No. All All right.
No.
Another one that we see a lot here. Are we going to see Everwild? Are we going to see Everwild at the Game Awards this year?
No, no, I don't think so.
Oh my, okay, no, Everwild. No. Scalebound. No. Everwild. No. All right, Colt, what about GoldenEye? Are we going to see the GoldenEye, quote, coming soon to Xbox?
We better not. We better not. If they waste 1 second on that garbage remaster, I hope Special Nick's in there. I don't know if he's still there.
Special Nick was.
He was.
I know you're trying to rile him up. You're trying to rile him up.
I mean, I know exactly what that game is, and I'm telling you, 99% of the gamers are going to play that game. They're going to play the damn level. Maybe most of it, they're going to be like, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
GoldenEye.
This is an update to Rare Replay. No, do not show GoldenEye at this event. Do not use as one of your retail slots for the show. Don't do it.
Okay, no. Scalebound, no. Everwild, no. GoldenEye, no. All right, let's look to the chat and see if anybody has a possibility of something we might actually see here. Because yeah, so far looking dire in terms of what the community wants to see. Oh, here's another good one. Will we see Banjo? The long wanted Banjo-Kazooie reboot. Is that coming?
No. They better not. No, I don't think that game's even in the works at all.
You're crushing dreams, dude. Look at all these no's.
Dang it, Xbox fans. Ask for something cool. Now, Everwild may be magically fantastic and magically delicious, as my Irish friend from the General Mills Lucky Charms guy says. I mean, there's magic in Sea of Thieves, so I expect magic from Everwild. But Banjo, Scalebound, and GoldenEye, guys? Come on now.
All right, Colt.
Come on!
Here's another one. Here's another one that people want, people need in their lives. Final Fantasy VII on Xbox. Colt, Final Fantasy VII.
Yes,
Xbox.
Yes, in about 3 or 4 years, but not at the show. Yeah.
So no?
Once they finish all the mainline content on PlayStation, they'll give it at least 1 to 2 years, and then it'll finally drop on Xbox when no one cares. Thank you, Square Enix. Thank you so much.
Final Fantasy VII on Xbox, no. So we have Scalebound, no. Everwild, no. GoldenEye, no. Banjo-Kazooie, no. Final Fantasy VII on Xbox, also a big no. Negative Nancy's up in here. All right? All right, Colt.
Nope.
Here's another one. Are we going to see Phantom Dust at the Game Awards?
Dang it, Miles.
Hey, the chat brought it up, not me, okay? I'm just here. I'm just along for the ride, baby. I'm just here.
You were slipping crisp $5 bills to the chat, feeding them through the machine. Hey, want me to bring up Phantom Dust? No, we'll not see Phantom Dust. I'm putting together a possible video about the Open Critic and the review scores for Xbox's first party and published games. You'd be surprised how highly rated Xbox is, but one of their lowest rated games of all time over the past 10 years is Phantom Dust.
Wow.
It's one of the lowest rated. Next to Crackdown 3 on Open Critic is a 63. Phantom Dust is a 62.
It's just ahead of the time.
Boy.
My.
Special Nick says, smells like old laundry that hasn't been pulled out of the washing machine for 3 weeks. Special Nick. GoldenEye is going to drop like a small little bird turd, it'll just kind of drop in like, oh, here you go. It's on Rare Replay. Mess around with it. Give it a minute.
All right, this one's for Special Nick while we got him here in the chat. And for you, Colt, because I told Special Nick not to play with me, not to play with this franchise, not to play with this idea. But he DM'd or he DM'd me, and then he mentioned on Twitter that, if there's an XO this year, they're going to show something that Miles would be excited about. They're going to reveal something that Miles would be excited about. We're on December. XO ain't happening this year. All right? XO is not happening this year. So, are they saving that announcement for the Game Awards, Colt and Special Nick? And that is the Mana games on Xbox. All right? Is that happening? Or are Special Nick and I going to have some words?
Hold on, let me see what Mana looks like. Mana game. Let me see how much of a banger this is.
Oh, it's a certified banger.
Like Trials of Mana, Secret of Mana, that sort of thing?
Yep, that's it. That's the
How
one.
old are you? I'm just kidding.
Old enough to be cultured, all right? That's how old.
Oh, yes, you are. You are very cultured. I'm going to say no Mana. I haven't heard anything like that, but...
Colt, our list sucks over here. What is this?
It's not our list. It's their list. Come on, guys. Work on it.
Scalebound, no. Everwild, no. GoldenEye, no. Banjo-Kazooie, no. Final Fantasy VII on Xbox, no. Phantom Dust on Xbox. Mana on Xbox.
Every one of these games is
no.
Goo gaga.
What?
I'm sorry.
No wonder people say Xbox has no games. Look at this no category. It's
Where's the dude bro shooters with the big chainsaw? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I think that's about it. All right.
Was that it for the community? Holy crud, guys.
Yeah, like all right, Coalition. I'm sorry, I gotta scale these down. While I'm scaling stuff down, adding hopefully we can maybe fill some other categories here. All right?
Yeah, go to 18-point font there.
Let's see if we can get some yeses or some maybes. The Coalition's next project. Is that something we could see? Whether it's Gear 6 or whether it's their rumored new IP, can we see that? Will that be?
I mean, I hear the rumored new IP is smaller and shorter. Now, I would put that Coalition thing in a maybe because they are well overdue. They haven't talked since Hivebusters.
Yeah.
They haven't really talked since 2019 or 2020. Splash Damage did Gears Tactics, so the Coalition has been working on the Matrix demo. They've been working on Unreal Engine. They've been pushing Unreal Engine 5 onto Gears 5. They've talked about that Alpha Point demo. So Coalition is either a maybe or yes, but they're definitely a maybe.
Let's round of applause.
What would you think?
We got a maybe. I'm gonna throw in a maybe just because we need some positivity in here. It's looking a little bleak. Colt. All right.
One bad mother. I would hold hands with you over a seance to get Crackdown 4 in existence, but I think Microsoft's gonna wait a long time to revive that. I would love that.
That one's that's gonna be taking a breather. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the next time we see Crackdown, Terry Crews is gonna be too old to be in Crackdown. I think that's kind of where we're at. Unfortunately, like I'm in the camp that Crackdown 3 was fine. I liked it. I had fun.
I liked it.
It did not set the world on fire. Oh, here's one we didn't talk about, and maybe Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones from Machine Games. Since the reveal on that one, we haven't gotten much. So do you think we might see Indiana Jones at the Game Awards?
I feel like if they were prepping something to show this week, that Todd Howard would have said something to get people more excited or to prepare them. But I mean, they're really good at keeping secrets, but he did talk about Indiana Jones, like Machine Games has a lot of stuff like built for it. I would put that in a maybe, but possibly a no, but it could be a maybe.
Let's throw it in maybe. Just a little more energy.
Is that how you're feeling too? Yeah.
Just maybe. Because there's a lot of question marks about 2023. Again, Contraband. Let's talk about that one too. We briefly touched on this, but Contraband.
Yeah.
There was talks originally when, Jez and I were talking about Contraband. He was talking about potentially dropping in 2022 as well. There was a possibility that there were some conversations maybe targeting 2022-ish. And so Contraband, potentially, based on what it is, a multiplayer kind of heist-style game, that could be a fun summer title. But will we see it at the Game Awards? Or would that be more of a Xbox Games showcase next time around?
Yeah, I think that would be more of a showcase. I heard that they asked for another year. Or they were told they should take another year. So I would put it in the no.
Another year, okay? Y'all need it. Okay, Contraband. No.
Sometime this year, they were told to take another year. So that's why we've seen nothing other than that Steely Dan, static flyover. It really bothers me when I try to talk about what Xbox is doing and I bring up Contraband and I've got this, heist hideout with static images. Even the person underneath that's like welding on a muffler on an old muddy Jeep is frozen in time, like the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
and
probably not that.
And I should also help set expectations that the team Avalanche, who didn't make Second Extinction, which I think was a horrible game.
Ooh.
It's the team that makes Just Cause, which they're really great. But Just Cause 3 was okay. Just Cause 4 was horrible. And I'm a huge Just Cause fan. Just Cause 2 is perfection. But, these teams move on. They evolve. They change. I don't know where Avalanche, the Just Cause team, is when it comes to making a Grand Theft Auto style Mediterranean 1970s heist game. It could be really cool, but it could also be really popcorn type game, like, it's a B-rated pulp game and you have to play it to experience it. That's where I'm wondering it could be.
They've proven to be really good with physics, and I think that's kind of where this would need to shine. Stuff like Just Cause. Like, I don't care about the story, really, for Just Cause. I just want to go in and blow stuff up, ride in a tornado, use my grappling hook. And so if they're going to do a multiplayer-centric thing, I would hope there's a lot of cool gadgets that let you really... It kind of elevate
the way
what
that
Payday
cars
did.
interact and smash and bump into each other. And I put together a video last year before the showcase, and I grabbed some old 70s chase footage and I montaged it together because those 70s chase films was all about big muscle cars like hitting over hills and the bodies rocking and being chased by cops and sliding around the corners and knocking over baskets. Like, this is something that they would totally excel at. And maybe just the whole vibe of being in a night. The thing I loved about Contraband is you're in the 70s, you're overseas. There's not a reliance on somebody on a smartphone and hacking. It's all about get away from line of sight, and hopefully when they radio in, they can't get you. It could be really cool to play an online heist game like that, like Payday and third person.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. That's what I want. I want a bigger, bolder Payday, something that has a bigger focus on the gadgets, because Payday was fun. Payday is a lot of fun. Rainbow Six Siege, also a lot of fun. I want to see those ideas just blown up to like a grand open world. Doom. Are we going to see a new Doom?
No, I don't know what they're doing. It's been 3 years since Doom Eternal, and they've done their DLC. So no, I don't think anything from Doom.
No, Doom. No category is just overflowing. We got stuff coming out of the top.
Just gonna have to start rotating them at 45 degrees. You should do it for fun. Do it for fun. Just throw Doom in there at an angle.
What else we got in the chat? Well, any Fallout Definitive Edition remasters? Are we doing any of that?
I thought, but I haven't heard anything that holds water about the Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 remasters. Honestly, I mean, they're doing a Fallout Next Gen update, which would be for performance and visuals, but I've been playing Fallout 4 a lot. It's actually a beautiful game in its own right. I would love for those games to all get some sort of pour over graphics, but the team is super busy. I don't know who else could work on it. Look at you just moving stuff like it's going to be a mess over there. So yeah, no Fallout information. I mean, you have to remember Fallout 76 is still just received its last big, this fall it received a big piece of DLC. So Fallout 76 is still alive whether you like it or not, and I don't like it. So Fallout is going to take a long time.
Fallout's going to be the thing that tides people over until we get the next Fallout stuff, which probably is going to be a ways away. As much as people don't want to hear it.
2028 probably.
The next mainline entry is going to be after Elder Scrolls. And as we talked about, it's going to be a long time before we get Elder Scrolls. There might be a spin-off somewhere in between there, but yeah, 2028 probably sounds safe for the next proper Fallout title. And yeah, like Colt said, in the meantime, get on Fallout 76, y'all. Love it. Embrace it. That's all you get.
Do you play it?
No. I played it.
It's not good.
I'd say it's okay. It's gotten a lot better,
tried.
but it's not what I want. Strangely enough, because I'm a big multiplayer fan, so really all I want from stuff like Elder Scrolls and Fallout is just co-op. If you could just give me 4-player co-op in that, don't change anything else, boom, I love it. But this is more of an MMO, so they changed a lot, and they made it grindy, less of a story, but I would be perfectly fine if they just gave me co-op. But
I mean, there's just too much. When you go into a room in Fallout, you're going to take 25% of the items in that room. And if you had one character or player with you, or 3 or 4, they just wouldn't fill a game up with those many items. And if you played it single player, you'd have an abundance of loot to take with you. It just doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's whatever. I get it. You know, Fallout fans are hurting. They want something.
I talked about Starfield on my video last week and on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, "Oh man, I wish it was co-op." I'm like, "What do you mean, like Fallout 76? Like that was co-op?" I mean, the PvE or PvP stuff is not even that prevalent. But like, what do you mean you want Starfield to do co-op? Co-op is one of the reasons why Fallout 76 doesn't even. Move forward.
Move forward, okay?
All right, you can move forward. I don't want to hold you back. Okay, go. What's the next one?
All right, I made some more room. Oops. All right, Doom is over here now. But we got plenty more room in the no category. Oops. I'm over here killing it.
Yeah. You're over there just killing it.
I've ruined it.
Photoshop.
I've ruined.
I mean, you could have done that and left it rotated, but you know.
Exactly, you know. But it is what it is. Okay, Colt, I think we're going to wrap this up. You know, we've been going for a little while. We got a good list here. But that's going to do it, I think. And appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you joining me. Appreciate the chat tuning in as we predict what we might see at the Game Awards. We'll find out in a couple days. Today's Tuesday. The Game Awards are on Thursday. Before we go, though, Colt, what is the one thing you want to see more than anything at the Game Awards this year? It doesn't have to be realistic. Doesn't have to be grounded in any sense of reality. What is the one Colt pick for the Game Awards 2022?
I would want to see gameplay for Perfect Dark, even though it wouldn't happen. I think that'd be super, super exciting. And that'd be a big thing to talk about for quite a while, because Crystal Dynamics is really, really talented. So seeing what they can do and what Daryl Gallagher and his team are going to do, I mean, that's a winning combination. You got the team that made the Tomb Raider series, the first 2 Tomb Raiders in the reboot. And yeah, that could be really great. You got the perfect the Zero Dark 30 thing, the old, GoPro style running and parkour and dual wielding, shooting stuff. Like, it's going to be a fast paced, really cool game.
Are you team first person or team third person?
I'm definitely team third person, but I'm sure that game will be a hybrid where you go into third person undercover like you do in Deus Ex and the original Perfect Dark game. I would love for that game to be all third person, but there's something about the mechanics of shooting when you build that game, when you're looking at the wrists and the shooting, like, you can't just say, "Hey, I want to see this from third person." The whole feel of the game is off. That's why a game like Starfield won't play the same in third person as it does in first. You have to kind of pick and choose how you're going to play it.
Exactly. Like Grounded has the option to switch to third person, and it works fine, but it doesn't quite feel as good. Like, it's not as precise, and that's kind of the trade-off when you...
It's because, Miles, and I know this is kind of controversial, a lot of people are like, why aren't they doing third person games? Are you ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Third person games typically, and Todd Howard talked about this in the video I covered a couple weeks ago. Third person games typically use magnetism and animation sync to take over for you to make that third person combat look fantastic. In actuality, in most games, all you're doing is getting your character up into the combat zone, up into the combat location or for the hitbox, and you're pushing a button or or 2 buttons, and the animations are taking over for a few seconds at a time. And that's why a game like Batman or Spider-Man or even God of War Ragnarok feel and look incredible. Like if somebody sits next to you and goes, holy crap, look at that. Well, you're getting Kratos up to the point where he's supposed to do the attack. You initiate a couple of buttons, you initiate the animations, and it looks fantastic. When you play a shooter, it's all about movement, strafing, aiming, locking in, aim down sights. It's a whole different thing. So there's a reason why the third-person games look so phenomenal and feel so great, because the game is doing a lot of that for you.
Exactly.
And I still enjoy it. So you just can't say, hey, can you pull the camera back? Because remember Cyberpunk's third-person camera mod? The camera was the person like, oh, it's just not made that way.
Yeah, it's the reason it took
it.
like a full year for Resident Evil Village to offer a third-person mode. Because it isn't, like you said, it's not as simple as
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, the latest DLC added a third-person mode. But to your point, it's not as simple as just pulling the camera back and saying, everything's fine now. Everything's good. You're totally...
Well, remember the Halo Infinite third-person mod last year on PC everyone was sharing? And it looked really cool. Did you see it, Miles?
Yeah.
It looks like I'm thinking, well, actually, that's a different thing, because Halo actually has a third-person camera built into the game. Every time you pick up any of the chain guns or the plasma turrets, it's built to play that way. Now, there's going to be some shooting mechanics that you lose because you're not in aim down sights or first person or whatever. But that's one game I think you could fully play if 343 just said, hey, let's put that in the settings. You could do it if you want. It's single player. You don't have to. Yeah. I think it would work.
Yeah, I love the option. Honestly, like I would love Sea of Thieves to incorporate third person, but I do understand it's a little more involved.
But if you've played the Avengers game, which I know a lot of people don't like that game, but I always say just play only the single player missions and roll the credits and you'll really enjoy it. That combat works really well in third person. It's mostly melee, and then the shooting stuff works really well. So I'm really excited about Perfect Dark.
Yeah, me too. Mine would be Everwild. If I'm picking one, and again, I don't think we're seeing it this year per se, but I'm so curious to see what that project is, because much like Sea of Thieves, it seems like Everwild is trying to be very different, very innovative in its design, and then there have been the conversations that suggest maybe initially they were trying to have no combat whatsoever. And so how do you make this open world multiplayer style game with no combat, or what does that look like? So I'm really curious, and I'm hopeful that team is getting whatever time and resources it needs to make that come to life, because I think if they're given the proper means, like we've seen with Sea of Thieves, it can turn into something really cool and turn into something really exciting. So Everwild has been one that we got a few trailers early on and we haven't gotten anything for, and I'm really hoping soon we get some kind of update on it.
Yeah, and I would ask Rare, they don't listen to me, but I would ask them to shoot for 2024 and then actually release the game in 2025, because Sea of Thieves the next year after would have been like an 80 Metacritic if they would have waited 1 year. But some of the community built that up. But the things they've done to the game, I mean, there's so many people told me Sea of Thieves would be a 90 something if it got re-reviewed. And knowing what they can do.
Yeah, and now, but unfortunately, it just sits at a 60. But such is life. All right, Colt, appreciate you, man. For people who don't know, and I'm sure everyone knows, you can follow Colt on Twitter at Colt Eastwood. You can also check out Colt's videos on YouTube at Colt Eastwood, youtube.com/Colt Eastwood, correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
That's correct. All right. That's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us. I will be on the ground reporting live at the Game Awards 2022 this year. So if you want to keep up to date with whatever there, follow me on Twitter, and we'll catch you guys later. Have a good one, everybody.